IRS called criminal investigations. And these men and women, they are cool cats. They can take apart a balance sheet and they can knock down a door and arrest someone. Like, they go out on patrols, they can make arrests. It's this very interesting hybrid force, about 2,500 of them, and they led the charge here. So it was IRS CIs who uncovered the initial fraud and the prosecutions. So it's with that group, with other groups at IRS, and with the powers of the Treasury to track where the money came from, where it's going. We saw this very unsettling news yesterday that many people involved here with the administration of these programs have tried to go back and they recreate documents, change documents, and we're not going to have that. We are going to hold people accountable. We're going to press this to the full extent possible. And like I said, I think that this may just be, it's a cold day outside, so this could be the tip of the iceberg here in Minnesota, but it's probably may not be as prevalent, but the dollars may be bigger and larger in other states. And just to put this in perspective for American taxpayers, for American families, the GAO, the General Accounting Office, believes that there is somewhere between 300 and 600 billion of annual fraud, roughly 10% of government spending that disappears due to fraud. If we can recapture that, that is 1% to 2% of GDP.
We just got a massive admission right from the Treasury's inner circle. Scott Bessent is finally pulling back the curtain on a total breakdown that's been bleeding us dry of billions. You felt it, haven't you? That nagging sense that your money was just vanishing into a black hole? Well, the era of DC treating your tax dollars like an open buffet is officially coming to a dead end. This isn't just a policy shift. It's a shutdown of the greatest heist in modern history. For decades, the people running Washington have looked at you, the American taxpayer, as nothing more than an ATM with no withdrawal limit. It's an unaccountable bureaucracy that's been living high on the hog off your hard work for far too long. But the numbers Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent just dropped, they're a flat-out national scandal. Speaking before the Economic Club, Bessent didn't pull any punches. He confirmed what every patriot in this country already knew in their gut. We're talking $300 to $600 billion lost every single year to pure, unadulterated fraud. This isn't just waste, it's a deliberate siphon. That figure represents nearly 10% of our entire federal budget just disappearing into the shadows. It's a total collapse of the guardrails that's gutted our economy and dumped an unpayable debt onto our kids' laps. Honestly, the weight of this admission can't be ignored. It's the first time a sitting Treasury Secretary has actually looked the nation in the eye and admitted the true depth of the rot. Now, don't let the talking heads tell you this is some wild conspiracy theory. It's a documented, cold hard reality. Secretary Bessent is pointing straight to the numbers from the Government Accountability Office, the very people who are actually supposed to be watching our wallets. Their reports have been sitting on shelves, gathering dust for years while the scammers hit the accelerator. We're looking at a whole parallel economy built on your sweat and tears. We're talking everything from fake benefit claims to shady international wire transfers. The GAO saw these holes in the bucket years ago, but previous administrations, they just chose to look the other way. Why? Because a messy, chaotic system is how the elites stay comfortable while the working class is left scraping by. This whole house of cards has finally hit its breaking point. Bessent's admission is a massive shift toward real transparency. He's sending a loud message. The days of the blank check are done. The proof is right there. The theft is real. And guess what? The bill has finally come due. This cleanup didn't just happen in a vacuum. It's the result of a brand new mandate led by the Department of Government Efficiency. You know the architects, Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy. They've been the ones drawing up the blueprints to tear down this business as usual mindset. They've brought the kind of data-driven firepower needed to blow apart the ideology of endless, mindless spending. The tag team effort between the Treasury and DOGE is a force to be reckoned with. Musk has been saying it for months. This kind of waste is a direct drain on the American soul. By pinpointing these billions in fraud, the administration is getting ready to shut down the threat to our country's financial future. This isn't just about spreadsheets. It's about restoring a basic level of trust. When the government treats your money like garbage, they're treating the citizen with contempt. That whole era is being ripped apart piece by piece, and the results? They're going to be historic. For way too long, the IRS has been used as a tool to keep the public in line and bully small business owners. But Secretary Bessent is flipping the script. He's announcing a massive shift in what they actually do. The target is moving off the back of the average guy and onto the professional fraudsters who've been playing the system for years. The criminal side of the IRS is being rebuilt to take down the big league thieves who've been looting the public purse. This is a recovery mission, plain and simple. Bessent is calling for heavy-duty audits and throwing the book at anyone who's been stealing from you. We're talking about permanent fixes to claw back that stolen taxpayer wealth. Just think about the impact of $500 billion being poured back into our economy instead of sitting in the bank accounts of corrupt insiders. This is a surgical strike against the culture of corruption. It's a promise that the law is finally going to matter again, even for the people hiding in the shadows. The fallout from this cleanup is going to be huge for your wallet. The experts are suggesting that just by cutting off the fraud, we could see the GDP jump by 1 or even 2% almost immediately. This isn't some textbook theory, it's basic mathematical reality. When you stop the stealing, that capital flows back into the real productive economy where things actually get built. It means lower deficits, a dollar that actually holds its value, and a more stable future for every American family. We're watching a massive failure get turned into a massive victory. This is the real America First policy in action. By cutting out the scammers, we reduce the need for high taxes and the kind of spending that drives inflation through the roof. The middle class has been the punching bag for these economic games for decades, but they're finally about to get the relief they deserve. Bessent isn't just fixing a ledger, he's rebuilding the foundation of the American dream. Our potential for growth is through the roof, if we actually have the guts to enforce the law. Now, don't think for a second this process is going to be easy. The pushback from the permanent bureaucracy is going to be nasty. The people who've been getting rich off this breakdown aren't going to leave the party without a fight. Expect the media to start framing these audits as some kind of tragedy or overreach. They're going to try to trash the reputation of anyone who dares to look for the truth. But I think the American people have hit a turning point. We've seen the evidence, we've heard the Secretary's plan, and we're not backing down. This is a fight for the very soul and integrity of the country. If we let this theft keep going, we're basically accepting a permanent change to our national character, one where honesty is for suckers and stealing is tolerated. We can't let that happen. We've got to stand firm behind the people who are finally willing to tear down the corruption. The gloves are off, and the stakes, they couldn't be higher. As Secretary Bessent wraps up his remarks, the message to the world is loud and clear. America isn't a house of mirrors anymore. We're a nation of laws, and those laws are finally being enforced. Getting that $600 billion back is more than just a money move. It's a moral duty. It's about showing respect to the worker, the veteran, and the small business owner who've been playing by the rules while the government wasted their money. This is the investigation of the century, and we're only in the opening chapters. The lights are finally being flipped on in the darkest corners of Washington, and the truth is spilling out. Stay sharp, stay informed, and never forget, it's your country and it's your money. The era of the great taxpayer heist is ending. A new dawn of American accountability is finally here. This is Bill Curtis for the American Patriot.